And only about 5 bags a season. So his will just be here. If I put it in there, I've got to have the cherry weight of 3,000 pounds of coffee, cherry weight, in his batch of coffee to put it in the drum.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to mix his coffee with his coffee with his coffee.
Correct.
So these guys right here, the problem is like when you bring in small batches like this, that over there is the coffee being returned from 300 pounds of coffee cherry. Not this one.
That little
but
pile.
The next one, that little one. And I need at least 3,000 pounds of coffee
to make it worth putting in the drum.
Well, I won't put it in the drum because I'm not even covering the heating elements. And I used to use #2 diesel for the drying drums. But what makes a big difference is that if I got too little coffee, I'm throwing all of the heat out. Where if I got at least 2,500 pounds of coffee, I'm covering the heating element in there and I'm efficiently using it. But to me, the big thing is that when coffee comes in, I do as much sun drying the coffee as I can. Because then
you're not using diesel.
I'm not using, well, I stopped using diesel because there was nothing but problems with the filters. And the filters always quit at 9 o'clock at night when I want my beer. So I use gas now.
But so then, after that, it's not ready to go.
No, what I've done is like what you got to do is you got to dry the coffee to the proper moisture content, which is between 9 to 12% moisture. Now at that time, like this coffee right here, you can take that and rub it between your fingers. Here you go.
I'm gonna have it make that. Oh, and that extra skin comes off.
And that skin comes off, and then if you look at it, there's still another skin on the inside. And that's why it's no problem walking on it with your shoes.
Because it still isn't even anywhere close.
No, it's still got 2 more skins to get rid of. And that's why generally when I'm roasting coffee, when I'm done, I look like I got dandruff. I probably still do, but...
Yeah, you got stuff on you.
That's why I get in the Mercedes
but so then this
ride. Blows off.
I noticed you like the old Benz convertibles now.
Well, those two, two on the inside I'm getting rid of, but the other one on the other side is my cruiser. Fun car.
So then, is this, I mean, can I eat it?
Okay, go ahead, but you got to have a great imagination still.
Well, it's really, really, really hard.
Right, but don't break a tooth.
Yeah.
No, put it in and chew it and tell me what the coffee flavor is.
No, it doesn't taste anything like coffee.
Henry, how you doing there? You got a lot of coffee in here? You work in the shade, it's not so hot.
Is this your farm or your buddy?
Which one? The one next where that roof is there. That's what they call a hoshidana. And a hoshidana, like this used to be, is like that, where you have a track, like you used to have a track out here. And when the sun was out, they'd slide the roof out over so that the sun could dry the coffee beans. And then when it starts raining, you got to quickly run and shut them. But what we do here is with this one right here, we can have, so all we need is a day, and we have to just turn the beans over, and they'll dry during the nighttime. But that's a traditional old hoshidana system that they used to have here.
Was this the coffee you placed before you got here?
This has been a coffee place since the 1830s, 1840s. The name actually is like I'm a dealer in antique charts, prints, lithographs, and copper engravings. So my original business is primarily I'm an oceanographer. And I used to be an aquanaut living in underwater houses. Pilot a small research sub. And then I spent 18 years filming and sailing and traveling around the world on my sailboat.
Oh, wow.
And then I spent a couple years in southern Africa, darting up in Botswana and Namibia, working with a German group called Mound Darting Animals for hoof and mouth disease. And then I've been in and out of a few too many wars. I got Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos, and I was in Lebanon during part of that. I've been like 26 wars I've been right in the edge of or in.
So you just come to Hawaii, huh?
That's why I'm in Hawaii. So pretty much what we do is we dry everything out here on the deck here. Like this was just put out. Like this one should have actually raked it. But the main thing is to get it so that it dries out here. And like this is Dustin's and that's Dustin's. And when he wants his coffee, like this one's ready to be bagged up. This one is.
But so that you bag them, they're not, and then they still have to be roasted.
What I do is I take anybody's coffee wherever they want to take them.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you where you want me to take your coffee to. I take it, like this guy right here's got the coffee shack. It's a restaurant you passed when you came up here.
Okay.
It's sort of the one with a beautiful overlooking view of the down here about 5 miles. Anyway, this is his coffee right here.
And then they roast.
And they do whatever they want with it. He wants his coffee back in the parchment form, which is what this is.
Because it still has that layer on it.
But see, what a lot of people do is they make a mistake. Is they get all their coffee down, and they take it in, and they get the parchment skin taken off. But what that is each one of those layers on there keeps the dirt from getting into the coffee, and keeps any other bad things from getting in. And it's also holding the oils in the bean. And this is a true thing that happened a couple of years ago. This friend of mine got a farm down here, and they had one of the drying decks up there that had coffee on it from 1970. It was in the parchment form like this with both the skins on it. And he was just going to throw it away, and I said, no, I've never seen this. Let me try it. So he gave me all I want, which was just a couple bags just to sample it. And because see, we do all our own processing, so we can do whatever we want. And I processed it, and it came out with it was a good coffee, but it was a little flat. But it was good. And then another friend of mine
30 years, 40 years,
40 years. But then another friend of mine brought me in coffee that was like 3 years old, and he had the parchment skin and the silver skin taken off, and it was dreadful. Because it really shows you what the difference of the skins makes in your coffee.
Do you replace your coffee plants every so often?
Well, they're replacing themselves. I got 15,000 plants.
So they seed themselves and just sort of...
They seed themselves. In fact, if you want to take a couple of beans home with you, you probably do. Grow your own coffee.
In Oregon?
Well, you can't put it outside because it can't tolerate a frost or a freeze, but you can grow it inside and have your own coffee plant.
It's not bad.
You just don't have to, you forget to have them in the pocket.
Okay, well I didn't
No, what do you...
know if it was, sort of a bad thing
Well,
to do for
theoretically
the environment.
theoretically it's not legal, but
Right.
the main thing that's different, that's good, is that it's a raw coffee bean. If it was a coffee cherry with the juice and the fruit on it, like out there, that you wouldn't be able to bring back. But, if you just put 4 or 5 beans in your pocket and just try growing your own coffee.
And that would sprout from those?
Yeah. Because see, it hasn't been roasted yet.
Once you roast it, it'll kill it. Here, we'll take a couple so you can grow a coffee plant, babe.
Right here is the machine that allows me to... See, what we do is we do everything from start to finish with our own coffee. Our coffee never gets out of our hands until we take it to the post office.
Okay.
And that makes sense. Like this is coffee parchment right here. Like that.
Okay.
So that takes off that skin.
Okay.
I run it through there twice to get rid of, the skins that are in there. Well, the skin, I'll put that through a second time and it'll clean it up really well.
And then you roast it.
And then we go over here to a roaster, which is what I built.
Oh, wow. So that's what I was smelling.
Right, this is an electric hot air roaster, which is what I built by myself. And the reason why I did it is that a coffee roaster for 20 pounds costs about $30,000 to $40,000. I reckoned I could make one. And I did.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now you can see my dandruff.
Uh-huh. So then you've got heat. You have an electric heating element and then just a fan?
I got heating elements and a blower in there.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is like in the organic mode, everything's done with double filtered chlorine-free water, grown without chemicals, herbicides, or pesticides.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, most coffee roasting is done in a gas roaster. Gas is good, gas is clean, gas is good.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is gas has got a little thing in it. Chew it. Now you got to.
Now I got coffee.
Now you got a coffee.
And so it's just the roast, it's just the heat.
What I do is it's like a hot air popcorn popper. And what I do is I roast it in electrically created heat, so I'm using a non-toxic heating element system for roasting the coffee. And for us, the big thing that's different is like the coffee that we roast every day has gone out. Usually goes out within 1 to 2 days. And we roast basically every day. This is my 3rd roast today. And some days I'll do 7 roasts.
How long does it take to roast?
Okay, I'll answer like as a historian, sort of. Normally, the big coffee companies preheat the roaster to approximately 370 degrees temperature, and then they put the beans into that hot temperature, and in 6 minutes they've got it roasted. We start out at ambient temperature with the beans there, and eventually, in about 22 to 27, 28 minutes, it builds up to the temperature we want for the roast.
And then how long does it take once it's at temp?
No, when it's at the temp, it's there.
It's done.
And then we shut the heat off, and then we keep the blowers going and cool it down.
Oh, okay.
You know how it is with foods, like when you do slow cooking,
once it's cooked,
than quick cooking.
Right.
And so in essence, like in Italy, traditionally the Italians used to use 25 minutes, 22 to 25 minutes was the traditional time to roast coffee. And ours is like 22 to 28 minutes. And
Folgers is 6.
Folgers is probably less because they're roasting 500-pound batches at a time. Where we roast only 20 pounds at a time.
That's great you built that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I reckon with this roaster I've got probably 18 to 20,000 roasts done with.
So that's it, and then you package it.
And then we package it. And then, but we even go further than that. Like when we do the packaging, we use Mylar bags instead of plastic bags. Because if you use a plastic bag, you're going to get the BHP from the plastics eventually leaching into the coffee. But by using a Mylar bag, there are no toxins that are going from the Mylar into the coffee. So everything we do is, done in an organic method as far as we can do it.
That's fascinating.
It's a different world. I never thought it would be like it is. But there aren't many people that do it the way we do it. Like most of the people do it in big companies. We've got a lot of people that have retired. They come over here, buy a plantation, and they farm all the work out to other people to do.
I'd be curious since you're a big coffee facility now that I've seen those.
Well, it's really different. If you ever go to Kauai,
sure.
They got coffee tours there. And they're really, I mean, we were actually, the way we survived the first several years is we were the first farm to actually give a real coffee tour person to person. Where all the other farms here in Hawaii,
distributor.
the big companies, would sit you down in front of a video and let you see the video, and that's how coffee's done. I used to be a seaweed farmer a long time ago in Bellingham, Washington.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I worked with the Lummi Indians up there. And we were farming seaweed all the way from Seattle up to Prince Rupert.
That's good stuff.